New themes, old themes, and more comebacks than the Knicks. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by Brute Force Research and brought to you by Nodesk, helping music technology and finance companies navigate the music industry, and partnered with Digital Music News. It's June 15th, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Monday, where we talk about what happened over the weekend and what is on deck for this week. Well, we've got some old themes to discuss and some new themes to discuss today. We'll identify them as we go along. Over the weekend, well, let's start with the newest and unlikeliest of themes that emerged over the weekend. Non-sports people, cover your ears for a minute. Those themes are NBA champion New York Knicks and USA men's soccer team wins with flair. I could get used to those. Okay, I'll just give these sports haters a second to uncover their ears. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're revisiting some tried and sturdy unlimited supply themes this morning. Let's start with Bundlegate. Bundlegate, that's where Spotify and Amazon bundled their services in order to limit their publishing payments. Well, last week, one of the nuggets to emerge from the National Music Publishers Association annual meeting was the high cost of Bundlegate. Bundlegate, as a reminder, was the exploitation of a little-known codicil in the Spotify publishing contract that allowed it to shift a portion of mechanical payments to performance payments, and according to Danielle Aguirre, chief counsel at the NMPA, this has cost rights holders no less than 5 rods, or half a queener, over the past 2 years. Ashley King had the story over at Digital Music News. To revisit another tried and true unlimited supply recurring theme, and at the risk of beating a dead horse, or in this case a dead elephant, Hipgnosis founder and the father of music publishing financialization, Merck Mercuriadis, sat down last week with Tim Ingham of Music Business Worldwide for a chat about the rise and fall of Hipgnosis, the music fund and the company that started the music rights gold rush and gave birth not only to the terms queeners and rods, but also generated a lot of queeners and rods. Unfortunately for Merck, most of those queeners and rods live with other people these days, though I'm sure he's doing just fine. TLDR is that Merck is enjoying a redemption arc as rights get sold and resold and absorbed back into the music industry mothership. I'll get to that in a second. Despite all the skepticism, some of it mine, and financial chicanery and activist investor shade thrown at Merck, 3 simple words are true. Merck was right, and the redemption arc is in full swing as he moves into his next transformative crusade, which is to help rationalize and operationalize the ongoing power shift from labels to artists and managers, which I think he's also right about, even if he may not be the ultimate beneficiary of being right. Of course, the lion's share of valuable assets that Hipgnosis acquired and that its big financial partner Blackstone ultimately sold ended up reabsorbed into the mainstream industry when Sony purchased those assets. Over at his LinkedIn feed, Ritwik Punjwani posted a handy-dandy synopsis of Sony Music's overall strategy for maintaining market share critical mass. What is Sony's secret sauce? Well, a lot of it boils down to domain expertise, which is not exactly a secret. You know, being a label and a publisher. A whole stack of other people's money doesn't hurt, but ultimately the reason that catalogs end up at Sony and Universal so often is that these entities actually know how to exploit them. And while Merck and Hipgnosis certainly had a familiarity with the importance of catalog development and exploitation, they did not have the already in place robot arms and machinery to make those things work on the daily. Sony has the in-house expertise, the leverage, and also still the relationships in place to extract all that value. So once Merck had established that catalog assets were investable, all Sony needed to do is take that expertise, leverage, and relationships and just add money, which is a lot easier than doing it the other way around, which is why Sony Music Publishing and Universal Music Publishing stand to be the ultimate beneficiaries of Merck's founding vision. And while we're on the subject of catalog development, over the weekend, the Michael Jackson biopic surpassed the Queen biopic finally as the top grossing music biopic of all time. Guess who controls the master and publishing rights and has the relationships to make a Michael Jackson biopic happen? Spoiler alert, it's not Hipgnosis. Yes, it's Sony. Other people's money? Check. Catalog development expertise? Check. Relationships? Check. Which is why Merck can be right, and ultimately the spoils go to the usual suspects. As I mentioned, Merck is probably also right about the coming power shift, but don't underestimate the majors' ability to take advantage of that in the long term, too. Which is our final recurring theme from the weekend. Rumors of the majors in decline have proven to be exaggerated over and over. Love them or hate them, the majors are pretty good at adjusting to shifting realities that would kill other businesses dead. They've completed more comebacks even than the Knicks. Looking at the week ahead, my personal calendar is a sea of World Cup matches. Yes, I'm scheduling my meetings in between the key matches. Don't be insulted, this only happens once every 4 years, and it'll be over before we know it. This week is also the quiet aftermath of the storm of music events in New York City over the past 2 weeks. The NMPA meeting, the Music Investor Summit, Indie Week, New York Music Month, and on and on. This is a short holiday week, not a whole lot of industry events going on. Globally, festival season kicked into high gear last week and will continue this week. But otherwise, getting back to that new theme, the world champion New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson and co. will be taking over the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon tonight, along with their vibe shift saviors, the Wu-Tang Clan. Olds, set your DVRs. Youngs, check out YouTube tomorrow morning. And if you're like the rest of us, maybe just watch it live if you haven't cut the cord on network TV. A few friends celebrating birthdays this week include music marketing power couple Jason and Veronica Hradil, or Veronica and Jason Hradil, depending on your perspective, who share not only a marriage and children, but also a birthday this week. Also, indie publicity whiz Inge Colsen, Sirius XM licensing kingpin George White, Disney music catalog manager, my South by Southwest touchstone, Scott Pappas, and Capitals commercial overseer Steven Cervenka. Happy birthday, old friends all. And that's another Monday. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners. If you want to join the few, the proud, the elite supporters of Unlimited Supply and receive your Unlimited Supply merit badge trucker hat, there's a link in the show notes and on our website. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement, but it really helps if you share that praise as a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or three. And we're on Substack if that floats your boat. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.